We're looking at the Cardinal Protodeacon Dominique Mamberti, and he will address the crowd in Latin.
Oh, holy shit.
I don't want this.
Your fireplace, go, go.
Hey, stupid curtain. Let me out. Mika!
It's the new Pope!
I'd sit this one out, Cap.
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one God, ma'am. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Transition. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another Thirsty Thursdays, where we can go really America today. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. That's
fine.
that's some sort of an entrance right there.
Where's Kyle?
Sorry, Kyle.
Oh,
There we go. I thought I added everybody.
He's like, what am I, chopped liver? Come on.
I even
Hey,
opened
he's
the
got a whole
can.
row to
I
himself.
think you missed the sound effect of that.
Aw.
Aw, that's too bad. Yeah, we always look forward to that. But yeah, man, it's been a couple month and a half for me. I've been pretty much like away from YouTube, but I made my glorious return with the Thunderbolts review, which we're going to talk about, along with a whole slew of other things. But I wanted to introduce everybody. Nadia, who I stream with on for her. Is there a title to your Thursday stream?
Just The Last of Us at this point.
I mean, yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah, not much effort put into this stream.
So we're having our dessert first now, and then we have to eat our veggies later. That shows like what it's like a chore. But
Yeah.
I don't know
But
how
not,
you have
but
the
not
patience
being
to
on
watch
the
that.
stream with Nadia.
no. That's the only fun part about this. How you doing, Brawler?
I am doing good, man. Yeah, geez, I the first season of Last of Us, I was surprisingly pretty entertained, and then I just
Same.
couldn't finish it. I don't know. And then hearing all the horrors that are falling apart with the second season, there's no way in hell no one can force me to do that. Not even a
Don't
gunpoint.
waste your time.
I'm just falling for it.
I'm glad I never
Horrors,
started.
right? Not WHORE.
Did I say that?
Horrors.
It just
Think
Horrors,
sounded like that to me, man.
horrors.
I'm messing with you, man.
I don't think I dropped horrors.
That's all right. I drop horrors all the time because my channel's horror with nads. So
Nice.
you're good.
Make sure to pronunciate, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Nadia's like coming in and out.
I'm sorry, my computer's having issues. I'll write with you guys.
Technical difficulties are part of every stream, so.
Wouldn't be complete without it.
Sin, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little distracted by my doggy who's recovering from surgery.
How's he doing?
He's doing good, but he's just insistent on just obsessively licking the inside of his cone. It's very distracting.
Yeah, he's probably like.
He's just
what
like, get
just
me out of
happened?
this thing.
Mhm.
Oh
my
man,
cousin.
And I like seeing your background. I didn't notice just how much you had back there. Jeez.
Who,
That's
me?
some good stuff. Yeah.
Oh
like your
yeah, I got a
background.
whole, and you can't even see it all because the camera just can't pick it up. But it's not nearly as good of a background as some of the rest of you guys. Like yours and Nadia's and Corey's looks great, and mine's just this cluttered mess.
Mine is literally Clutterson. Like,
Yeah, but
Well, I was
looks
gonna say mine is
organized.
too.
It looks organized.
I need to
what's
dust
this
it.
little
I-
section?
and I need to dust it really bad, probably too.
It's the back of my desk, so I don't have a lot of like nice shelving, so I had to just figure out ways to arrange it there.
Well, mine is just whatever I can fit on the
And
window.
the window, yeah.
I really want Corey's background.
And I just realized I did not move a box. So sorry, you gotta.
Oh, I didn't even notice it.
What an eyesore, man.
Yeah, I know, rookie.
Mine is the meta dark verse before
Ooh.
Zuckerberg stole my idea. I've been doing this for years, and then then it becomes a thing.
Toxic.
So
How you
nice
doing?
little
Copyright.
background. I like it.
Good, good. Just chilling here at work. Just got done doing all my checks so I could get on the stream with you guys.
Nice.
Streaming at work.
Toxic's
That's
a
a
newcomer
vibe.
to the stream. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah,
Toxic
Nice to meet
cool.
you.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers to that. Corey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Everybody's
Since you said cheers, I got to take a drink because I
know.
heard it's a
Yeah, I
party.
know,
It's a party foul if somebody tells you cheers and you don't take a drink.
Oh, okay.
So.
I'll
little
drink my
bit.
water.
Is it a
then.
party foul if you drink water?
No,
Green
no.
juice?
No, you're
Okay,
good.
yeah,
no,
okay,
you're,
good.
you're still
I
good.
feel safe. I feel safe then.
I think it's
It
if you cheers with water, that's a party foul. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
try to
Maybe
remember
that. Maybe that. I'll go for that one.
remember that.
But if you're returning the cheers with the water, it's okay. I'd say you're good, Kyle. So
I'm
but-
working my way through this free bottle of tequila that I got. So
Damn.
Ooh.
Are you
That's
drinking
the-
from the bottle, or you got?
no, I'm a little classy. I got
Okay,
a
all right,
little-
great. I like the glass too.
part of the stream will
Suburban
just see the
glass.
It's
bottle
Matthew
like.
Lillard tequila from Familiar Free Spirits.
Oh, is that the one you got signed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You got
wow.
it signed, right?
No, I got Mike Flanagan's book with it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But were you
Sorry,
the one
I
that was
didn't-
posting like you got something signed when you got that, didn't you, or not? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I did a reading stream where I drank and read.
Okay.
Tried to read, so
Maybe
that's
I
what
was
did.
drinking when I was watching your show, and I don't remember. So anyway, I probably remembered incorrectly. But anyway, cool.
Yeah.
And I'll shut up now.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I love how
it
I introduce awkward silences so many times. In stream.
Yeah.
So I apologize. Thank you, and Paul again. Thank you for having me on. Even
of
after
course,
all that.
man.
But-
You are always welcome. You're always welcome. Don't ask.
Corey.
I just talk too much.
No, you don't. That's exactly why we're here.
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
Yap
A
and
lot of
rant
us.
about pop culture.
Well, something I respect about Corey is on his channel, he reviews, the new DVDs he gets and stuff like that. I'm always excited to see the new merchandise you bring. Corey, did you get anything new? Anything exciting?
I have got a couple new things.
Oh,
That's
good.
just sitting here. I don't know whether I don't want to take over the thing.
Man, I might have to just wait and watch your show.
There we go. Maybe
go,
my next one
everybody.
I'll show up on there.
Paula, you're just like wide-eyed kid. Like, I can't wait till you open your gifts.
He is the baby. Hey, I you know what I miss about Hard Media is the director's commentary and stuff.
Oh, I
Still
love
on
it.
some of them.
I love it though.
Not
No, I know,
like it
I know,
used
but it's
to
not.
be, Sin.
It's not on
like it used to
streaming
be.
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
that's really retarded. The idea
What?
that they can't put a commentary on the Voodoo, Apple, blah blah blah
Yeah,
special
yeah.
features.
Agreed.
Simple.
Agreed.
It's a simple.
They have it on
input
iTunes.
switch.
Some
Oh,
do.
do
selection
they?
for
I
audio.
didn't know that.
Some
Interesting.
some will do that, but not all of them. But I've noticed.
No,
that
not all of them.
Well, they
No.
certainly don't do it for Voodoo
You said
because
voodoo.
I have a movie library in there, and I was
Yep,
just watching
same.
the Edge of Tomorrow special feature,
Oh, nice.
which was like an hour long, and you have all of these movies with special features, and they don't have any
No
commentary
audio
selections.
commentaries, which
But
is
but I'll say I love that too, and I won't take over. I have this Friday the 13th Scream Factory set here with all the movies. The Friday the 13th.
Bring that
but-
closer. Bring that closer.
Oh, gosh. I got pops on top there. But what I was going to say is that the reason I bought this one from Arrow is there was some new
commentary.
there's some new commentaries, some new things I
Damn.
want to dig into and watch.
Arrow
So-
the TV show.
what's that?
Arrow the TV show.
No. Arrow, the label. It's they put out it's like a boutique label that will put out
okay.
different movies, but
That looks so cool.
but
That looks sweet.
but I
Yeah.
grabbed this even though I already had the Blu-ray, this is
you
this
gotta
is
add to it. I
this
get
is
it.
4K,
Yeah.
but it has some. It's supposed to have. I'm dying to dig into it. It's got a way more like commentaries and some additional special features, and I'm a sucker for that.
The whole month of June, I'm on Suns and Shadows channel talking about Friday the 13th. We're gonna be talking about Jason Goes
Because
to
there is
Hell,
a Friday the
Freddy
13th in
versus
June,
Jason.
right?
I think so, but it's gonna be on Tuesdays.
So come on, Nadia.
I
I'm just kidding.
barely know what I'm doing tomorrow versus what I'm doing next month. So
I almost think there is a Friday the
yeah,
13th.
there is. Yep.
Yep.
Second week in June.
Very nice. Yeah, there's some good horror coming out. I'm a big fan of the slasher horror because I find it funny, like Scream or Final Destination, along those lines.
The reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out.
Hell yeah, I'll watch it.
Well, they're just copying the model of what Scream 5 did. They're just doing the exact same thing, bringing back the legacy characters, Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt, and they're being inducted into the younger group that is really the inciting group that does the same thing from what the first movie did. So it's just they're just mashing the old and the new.
I'll still be seated. Yeah.
I'm more skeptical on it. I would rather go see the Final Destination movie, see what that's about.
Won't do it.
Why?
The hell for?
The Final Destination movies just they hit me in a certain way that it just creeped me out.
Oh,
so I just,
well, that's
just
kind
something...
of then they won you over.
Yeah, but I won't. So I have a thing going on with my channel. If I hit 1K subs, I'll go see it in 4DX.
Everybody.
40.
Go to Ned's channel.
How far off are
subscribe?
145 subs, but Culture Casino said he was going to promote my channel tomorrow to get me there.
Oh, we got to get you there.
Oh, it's going to happen. You're going to Final
Can you
Destination.
do a live reaction while you're watching?
I am. I was going to try to go during a time that usually the first showing in the 40X has just a few people, so I could probably put my camera without disturbing anyone. But those movies literally get underneath my nails. That's how I just like.
Well, actually, I'm with you, Nadia, because whenever I'm driving on the highway or wherever, and there's
avoid it, right?
Log truck,
truck with
we all do
anything on top that's just
everyone does.
Whatever.
Did you see the promo
All
truck
millennials.
driving around somewhere, maybe California? It's like, wow, that's cool.
I will say the marketing is very good for this, and apparently the opening kill is like one of the most gruesome ones in the whole IP. From early reviews that I've seen.
I don't tend to believe that stuff until
right.
That's usually a marketing ploy.
That's something.
Yeah.
That's something I can't stand about new horror movies. All these, it was like that with Scream too. They come back, all the same old characters you loved back when, and now they just make it super gory. I think they take it too far. I think they did it. I think especially with the last Halloween, it was really gory. I think they took it a little too far. And then Scream,
that was the
sort of
least
went
of
down
its
that
problems.
route.
But
You're thinking Halloween kills.
Look out to me, bro. I didn't like that. I'm not all about that. I'm not squeamish, but I don't know. I liked how in the past, like the 90s or whatever, they had a respect for it where they just kind of there was a fine line. I think at least what I saw.
Drew Barrymore hanging
When's the
from a
last
tree
time-
with her guts
when's the
spilled
last
out. I
time
mean,
you've
come
seen
on.
the first one.
Pretty recently. I don't know. I don't think it was that gory or I don't know. I guess the Drew Barrymore one was rough, but that was about it.
Yeah, because the
I
studio almost
love the
didn't let the
original.
movie made for.
They
because of that.
they did have to cut that down because
did.
of the
Yeah.
MPAA. There was more to the shot.
Her and
wonder-
her and her boyfriend getting gutted. Was
Yeah,
cut
correct.
down.
On the patio with the boyfriend and on the tree.
You know how
you
I
know
know
how
that?
we zoom in really quickly to her body. That's part of the reason why.
Wow.
You know how I know these things from the DVD commentary when I had the DVD.
Nice.
See how I like
So
that.
cool.
See what you
That's
did.
good.
You just did. Yeah, you moved it around, set up, payoff. Type
Speaking
of, thing.
I know what you did last summer. I do think you're right about how they're going to Scream 5 it a little bit,
yeah.
but I also think it's cool that they're mixing the two genres. If you pull up the media that I put in there, I don't know if you can or not.
I see a picture.
Paul can't.
This has been like an insane. I don't know how the fuck to add
That's cool.
I could basically do this. But
There you
that's
go.
it.
I think that works.
I can't. I can't
No, you got it.
I
You
like
got it.
this because it doesn't
Much
push us
beyond
all
that.
to the side
Right.
and take us and minimize us to
Yeah.
Well, that's
ants.
kind of what I
It's
want to
just
do.
like Freddie Prinze
He's
Jr.
just
is
one
on
of the
ground.
guys. Yeah.
It's like
Well,
yeah.
it's like they managed to mix Tales from the Crypt and I Know What You Did Last Summer with all this makeup they put on Freddie Prinze Jr. right here.
Am I
mean,
seeing twins right now? Kyle and Freddie?
Yikes!
Wait, no, I'm this way. Hey, Freddy.
Wait, so What You Did Last Summer is a sequel to an older film? I didn't know that.
It's a reboot.
A requel. It's a requel.
Is it worth watching the original one? Is it
No.
good? No.
Okay. So it was that era of early 2090s slasher teen horror movies. So you had like I Know What You Did Last Summer, you had The Faculty, you had Urban Legend. So it kind of fits in that genre. So if you like
Urban
those
Legend,
type-
yeah, I
type of
remember that.
movies, I say check it out. But
Kyle's
if
not
you
into
have
it.
a
whole other thing,
I don't know if you're going to.
It's actually based on a teen YA book from the late 80s.
Yeah.
And it's a huge upgrade from the book because the book is just basically it's like a thriller. It's like one of those things that you find on the shelf of the dusty bookshelf or something like that, and you read it and it's kind of cute or whatever. But then like the movie's actually like a slasher horror film, and like Nadia said, it's really a product of its time. The post Scream 1996, 1997 thing, like they went insane with those pretty people getting cut up, in slasher film type things.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, Corey's
Clean
looking
shaven
good over there.
Corey,
Clean
yeah.
shaven.
Yeah, the big old beard.
It's a new man.
left. Yep.
I like it. You get to see more of your expressions. man.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And my double chin too, so there you go.
So, how about them Thunderbolts? Or I mean, New
Please
Avengers.
don't.
Or...
No.
Okay, with
I like
show
it.
of raise of hands, who's seen the movie?
Me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Corey.
Corey's the odd one.
Corey's
out.
the
You're the
odd man
center.
out.
Wow,
I think that's-
right in the middle.
Get out of here, you!
I already said that to Paul. I was
That's
like,
right. He
Get
did.
Freddie back in here.
It's
He-
okay. There have been plenty of times I haven't seen what everybody
he
else
threw
has.
out the movie titles. And I'm like, as long as you don't mind, I haven't seen them. But
There are a lot more people here that saw it than I anticipated. So cool. Now, who I'm kind of running the chat, but I'm just curious. My curiosity is getting the best of me. Who really liked it?
I
Really
liked it.
liked.
Yeah.
I liked
That's a
it.
big
I
word.
wasn't
Liked,
in-
really
Not really
liked.
liked
but I
it.
liked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
liked
liked
Same.
it.
I had fun with
I
it.
also saw it in 40X, so that kind of
Oh,
added to
wow.
the experience.
I don't know. That
Amplified
must have been kind of
experience.
lackluster. I saw it in IMAX and I was really disappointed in
I
like,
saw it
the
in
spectacle
3D.
value.
I saw it in
It's
3D,
not
and I
the-
wish I hadn't have done that.
Oh, that's even worse.
It was.
I've seen movies in 40X now. I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I've seen Thunderbolts and Twisters. And actually, Deadpool and Wolverine was the best out of all three of them.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
40X.
How much
Naughty.
is a 40X ticket?
I think for two of us, it was like $52 to go.
Damn.
That's pretty man.
Yeah, that
I
is
know.
very
Is it like a big
Cool.
IMAX screen too?
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
is
basically,
really
you're
expensive.
basically watching a movie on a roller coaster, so it like moves.
Wow.
What I liked about Deadpool and Wolverine, it panned with the camera, so your seat kind of moved. It was fun. Twisters was pretty cool too because they would throw like lightning in the theater and
Oh wow.
and spray you in the face with like water and stuff. So
Mixed with Glenn
Just don't
Powell's
eat.
sweat.
Best part.
I've seen people
What?
like, oh, it's not gonna be a big deal. Have popcorn and then the popcorn goes everywhere because
Oh,
the seats
yeah.
like really move you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
that's an interesting experience. You might, Nadia, I was thinking since the last time we talked about this, I think you could make like a whole little sub channel or a whole little crate of just talking about your 40X.
Yeah, playlist.
Like,
So just-
like a whole playlist of just those
Yeah.
films
That
that
doesn't
you.
sound expensive at all.
Well, she's already watched. She's already
It's an
watching them.
investment.
But how often?
I'm very picky about which movies we go see in 40X. The reason we went to Thunderbolts was, so when my husband and I met, our second date was Iron Man 2. So we've always seen a Marvel movie around like our anniversary, and this is one of the few Marvel movies to come out in May. So we're both like, let's go check
amazing.
it out.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
look.
you.
Oh boy. Okay. Here we go.
You have an anniversary
So
in
cheers.
May?
I gotta take a drink now.
I have two. I have
They
May
made
and
me.
October.
Oh, okay.
Opa, let's drink.
But like Final Destination 40X, I'll go see it if I hit the 1K, or I was going to do a super chat tier kind of thing to hit on Tuesday.
But
So-
you gotta pick and choose the 40X stuff. Like she and I were talking about this on her stream last week. I went and saw the re-release of Showgirls in 40X, and that was a mistake because now I have.
Oh, well, how did the chairs move during the pool sex scene?
It was. I have to see a
Bow, chicka
doctor.
bow, bow.
Yeah, I have to see a doctor now. I got a disc pulled, and I might have chlamydia. It's like a whole big thing.
Did you break anything during that scene?
Probably. Yeah.
But what did you guys think of like plot line, character development?
Well, Paul, if I could start,
Sure,
with Thunderbolts, I was surprisingly, I quite enjoyed it. I went in with negative expectations. Clearly, I don't care about any of these characters, as everybody has said time and time again. I probably everyone in this stream probably likes John Walker the most. I mean, that seems to be like the one guy, at least the guys in the stream, because I know every single guy, all my guy friends, at least my age, they all love John Walker. And
It's
I don't
gotta
know,
be an age gap thing.
maybe.
You mean
You
John
don't like
Walker
him?
did nothing wrong?
Well, I am with that to some degree, but I also think them trying to make him like this big douche and like really trying to pose him as this douche, this dick. I don't know. It's just kind of, to me, it's made him more human than a lot of other characters, and I respect that side.
First off, they really didn't paint him as a big douche
In this one. I think
so he's no, I disagree. I think he was. I think he was aggravated and short-tempered, right? But the whole flashback with he's on his phone and his kid is right next to in the playpen and he's just on his phone and that's supposed to make him a deadbeat dad. That didn't go far enough with that. That's not enough. That's just a moment of his wife calling out, "Hey, you watching the kid? Are you watching the kid?" Yeah, and then he's looking at a headline where he's ridiculed, etc., and he gets aggravated. That shit happens. He's not like texting another chick and drinking it next to the child or smoking a cigarette next to that would be a step further.
Maybe
aggravated.
aggravated.
That.
I like the word aggravated.
I gotta push back on that just real quick because so I think it was pretty good in terms of like maybe he's got like a little depression or PTSD or something. He's kind of like in his own world or whatever. And he did mention like somewhere in the movie that he was in the military because I had this friend who was in the military. Unfortunately, he passed away. But when he came home from Iraq, he would stare off into space like while his kid played. The wife was like kind of distraught that like he was just staring off into space and not really like looking at what the kid was doing. So I thought that was pretty well done. And I mean, it is a Marvel movie, so you can't go like super deep in that direction because it's supposed to be family friendly. But I think it was all right.
I feel like that scene was just showing how consumed he was getting by all of that. And I didn't really see anything. I mean, it didn't stand out to me in the way it did to Kyle. I felt
he
like
was
it was
thinking
effective.
about his public image. He was just self-consumed. That's what made him douchey, right?
No,
that's the
when
only
I
thing.
said
that's
when
going
I was
against
saying
him.
when I was referring to him as a douche, I was talking about like the scenes that stick out to me is really the very beginning when they're all meeting each other for the first time in the vault. And the way he just talks to everybody, like he's on his high horse. They're all little people.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing that.
I know, but it was just I don't know. They push it hard with him more than everyone else.
Brawler,
and they did on purpose.
Brawler, have you seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier where they introduced him?
I'm rusty on that, man.
Yeah, I know.
That was a
really
long
can't
time
remember.
ago. But
It's been a bit, but I felt like he came across as definitely more antagonistic and not a good person in the show than he did in this movie.
Which I think makes for, again, like, what we lacked in the last like 15 years of cinema is bad character development. I think that's a good, fall from grace and redemption arc overall for that character. And I mentioned that in my review.
Well, it was nice to have a cast of just imperfect superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Just imperfect people, right? I mean, I
It's
feel
Marvel
like
Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
No,
literally.
so it's not. So I have to push back on that because it's not, because it's in Suicide Squad, they're actually villains. Like the Joker is a straight up villain. He's not an anti-hero or a hero or anything like that. And then the other thing is like tone, environment, and theme, completely different. That's why I think a lot of people were pissy with this movie because they thought it was going to be Marvel's Suicide Squad, and it's not.
I think
Well,
it kind of
aren't
is.
the Thunderbolts
It's fair to compare the two. You know, for example, and someone enlightened me on this. The Ghost character, who I think was the least well written or developed character in this, hasn't she done bad shit?
Yeah,
Even
in
worse,
They all have.
even worse than the
I mean, I'm
varsity
gonna
Cap, as he's
I'm
called.
gonna, if you'll allow me, I'm gonna push back on the pushback. They're all mercenaries. So by their very nature, Yelena's an assassin. Ghost is a killer and a thief. At this point, Walker is no longer a captain in the Marine Corps or Captain America working for the government. Now he's a hired mercenary who kills for money. Alexei is, you know, Mark. He'll take any job that he gets, up to and including, you know, stripper parties in his Uzi mobile. We know
Winter Soldier as well.
We know Winter
He was
Soldier's
bad,
past.
yeah.
Now, whether or not he, you know, had, you know, full, you know, autonomy,
Control
of
of
course,
his-
he didn't.
Yeah, but
that-
remove Winter Soldier completely from the movie. I don't think he adds anything to it. I don't think he adds or takes
Really?
away anything from it. Yeah, I think he was the most underdeveloped character in the entire movie. Maybe they just utilized him because he's Winter Soldier and everybody
Yeah.
knows him. So like,
That's
I-
what
here
I'm
you go.
thinking.
I
Well,
feel
mean,
like
he's
he
no longer Winter Soldier. He's Bucky Barnes.
sure.
Or
But
whatever.
he had been.
Congressman Barnes.
Congressman.
Well, no. I mean, like
Ugh.
he stopped being the Winter Soldier by like Captain America. The hell, I forget the title.
Civil
but
War.
Captain America 3.
Civil War?
Civil War.
Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah. he
No,
stopped-
you're right. I think that I don't excuse it because I do like Bucky as a character and I would like to see him more developed. But I think probably with this, you know, when you have so many characters, I think probably, and it was a mistake. I agree. I think they probably figured he's already been in like 6 other Marvel films. Let's give these guys a little bit more time, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. I've heard a lot of complaints about like, why didn't we see Bucky in the Void? Why didn't we, you know, this and that? And I think their logic, flawed as it may be the fact that they thought, well, he's already been in 6 other Marvel things, you know, not including the TV show. So like, I don't know that he really needs as much development as these other characters. Now, that being said, they didn't really develop some of the characters that people wanted. I mean, I really don't think that anybody would have been happy no matter what they did with these characters the way they did. I mean, I'll wait my turn, but I really only have one major complaint with the film, but the rest of it I thought was pretty good. It's one of the best things from Marvel I've seen in a while, certainly.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you know what?
Nadia, I think Nadia and Toxic are correct in terms of Bucky because he has gone through his catharsis already through all these other films.
as
He also needs
opposed
to
to
know how to
Thor.
balamize his hair. Paul, I have a question, and I think
Yeah.
because it's been a long time since I've read Marvel. Aren't the Thunderbolts in the comics originally villains who pretend to be heroes?
I am
who
so
were-
glad you asked. Oh,
who
here
like
we go. This is
who a couple of them were like, you know what, I like being a hero. I like like this side, and they stay as a hero. It's not in a sense like the Suicide Squad where they brought a bunch of villains together to.
You know, Nadia, thanks for bringing that up because now I can like really fucking nerd out. Because I used to collect comic books roughly
Me too.
from like around 1992. It's actually how I learned to speak English and like read English. From like around 92 to about 97. I basically stopped as soon as my hormones started going and I wanted to chase girls. Yeah, girls.
Yeah,
but I stopped pretty much right around when the Thunderbolts started. And I, you know, it's kind of like well, you know, I have Thunderbolts #1. And it's like,
oh wow,
everything is like in pristine condition because I just keep it in whatever the wraps and all that. But yeah, you're right. So the original Thunderbolts team was put together by Thunderbolt Ross, which was who was played by William Hurt in The Incredible Hulk, and Harrison Ford in Captain America 4. So he put together. So if you guys remember Baron Zemo who was played by Daniel Bruhl in I forget which
Which
movie.
is weird not to have
Civil
him in
War.
the movie too,
Civil
or
War.
even as a cameo in the movie. I thought.
Yeah. I mean, he might be like a little too expensive because he's pretty popular in European cinema. There's a bunch of other characters, but yes, they are strictly villains. And then yes, some of them eventually became heroes. But the formation of the Thunderbolts, I think it's in the comics. I think will translate a little bit like thematically to the movies. It came on the heels of so at some point I forget it was like 95, 96. Professor X and Magneto forged into an evil entity known as Onslaught. And so all the Marvel, like that was like one of the massive, huge storylines that span the entire Marvel universe. They all came together to try to stop him. And he basically ended up killing the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America. But I guess right before he was about to kill them, and this is like really nerding out because I'm very excited about the what the post credit scene. It kind of confirms all my theories about this. So basically, Onslaught was stopped, and the heroes were actually saved by Franklin Richards, the son of Sue Richards, who she's pregnant with in the movies right now.
Yeah, I figured they were going to go that route anyway with the end credit scene.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing the way that they're going to tie up Phase 6 at the very end is to have Franklin basically combine every timeline into one and for a soft reboot of the MCU. So I think the way this is going, I am very, very hopeful.
Wow. Dang.
I had to hear another TED Talk because Taskmaster is my husband's favorite character, one of my husband's favorite character, and they
in the movies.
No, in the comic. In the comic.
No way.
No.
Okay.
No. Like Taskmaster's the first comic book. If he like if we talk comics with somebody, that's the first comic book he will buy for somebody and be like, here you go. Like read Taskmaster.
Yeah, they butchered Taskmaster. I think I feel like what happened to Taskmaster in the movie. Are we allowed to say spoilers or no?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like what happened to Taskmaster is almost like the MCU's apology.
I
like,
think you were going to say that. Yeah.
Like,
they finally get the costume right, though. In this movie is the first time they get the costume right.
I feel like
maybe they'll bring a male one from
they
a
will.
different
They will.
multiverse.
No, they will. I mean, it doesn't even need to be that. It can just there's a big thing in comic books where someone will pick up the mantle of something. Like you have the original I don't know, Roller Girl or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have the original this and that, and then they have like a second one and a third one, and they don't even necessarily have to have the same abilities or powers. They just take the name. Now, a lot of times they do, but they have a different version. The DC universe kind of did it better with like, the different Flashes and the different Green Lanterns and stuff like that. But the Marvel universe does do it as well. I was a big comic guy from like the early 80s, and again, until I discovered girls in the 90s. And so, because when you have girls, and you're trying to
you just everything else goes out.
Yeah,
the
comic book box has to go way in the back of the closet. You're just like, you're not going to be like, hey, you want to see my first issue of Daredevil versus Punisher? It's just like, ew.
See, that was different. See, that all changed in the early 2000s. Then nerds became in vogue.
Yeah,
right. But okay, but when I was growing up,
no, I totally get that. That's what you're saying.
Comics were my entertainment as a child.
I'm sure
so the youngins like Brawler should be really grateful that he's born in this
It
generation.
is weird though. I mean, it's true. Like I even remember when I was young, it was something that was kind of looked down upon. But then about maybe
last
when
year.
I turned around, last year when I was 12. No, I don't know. I think probably around when I was 12 was when it started to be cool, and I always had a pretty cool collection, and they didn't look down on me for it. They thought it was cool.
2015 was a very progressive year, so
I've always been a comic nerd and a nerd in general, so I've always gravitated to dudes that were nerds.
The best thing about Nadia the best thing about Nadia is she's a hot unicorn that doesn't know she's a unicorn. Like she
I'm
talks
not a
about
unicorn.
she talks about women. She talks about women stuff and like how different she is from other women. And like she'll be like, toxic, that's not true. I like these things. And I'm like, yeah, because you're a unicorn.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I've been called a unicorn too. I'd never heard that terminology until I was on YouTube.
I'll drop like repeal the 19th, and he'll be like, "Oh, you're a unicorn." I'm just like, okay.
I mean, you just gave more proof.
Yeah.
But as far as Taskmaster, yeah, Taskmaster is one of my favorites as well, just because he's kind of like an evil Deadpool. You know, he's very funny. The things that he says, like he's a mercenary. He'll take any job. He doesn't care, and he kind of plays with his I guess you'd call them abilities instead of powers. But the way that he can mimic what other people can do, he has a lot of fun with it. You know, and he'll pop up and stuff, but he's also kind of, even as deadly as he is, he's kind of a chicken shit. There's many episodes where like the Punisher or even Daredevil or Spider-Man will get him on the back foot, and he'll instantly be like, okay, cool, I'll tell you where the bomb is, no problem, you know, and because he's like, I don't care, I'm just a mercenary. So yeah, what they did to the Taskmaster character was really, it was really an abomination.
He was absolutely annoying as fuck in the Spider-Man PS4 game. I always had a hard time. Like,
he was really difficult.
Oh my god! Like impossible. It was really annoying.
Now to clarify, Taskmaster in Thunderbolts / the New Avengers is played by Olga Kurylenko.
Well,
yes?
But she got killed. She's dead.
Right. I was really surprised to see that happen because Olga Kurylenko has been around. She's she was a Bond girl.
She was not a favorable
then all of a sudden,
they
fucking
she's
kill
not
her
very
off.
favorable among the fans. So this is actually.
I was indifferent about it. I didn't have the knowledge that you guys do about that character.
Oh, you're not a nerd.
I didn't have the knowledge of Taskmaster going into Black Widow, but I could fully understand that character was totally.
When I tell you how excited when Black Widow trailer, the original trailer back in 2019 or whatever, came out, and they were originally going to release it in 2020, and of course that didn't happen. We all know why. But you know, I was so excited when I saw Taskmaster pop up, and I'm like, dude, Taskmaster, this is gonna. And they even had the music was really kind of deadly and all this stuff, and I was like, oh wow, man, this is amazing. And then of course you get the big reveal, and it's like, oh, womp womp. Womp,
you know what's
well,
weird
just
about
funny,
that? Sorry, go ahead.
Because it was a man the entire time who shot
right,
like stunts and everything.
Yes,
it was just
except when exactly. Yeah. So this is weird. When I saw the trailer, I didn't know anything about Taskmaster because I read comics back in the 80s when I was really young, and then gave my collection to my brothers, and they cut them up and just whatever. That's I know. I went and rebought some of the comics just first. Anyway, so when I saw the trailer for Black Widow, I actually thought that Taskmaster was a woman, and I thought that it was going to be Yelena and Black Widow's stepmother lady, the mother, the one played by Rachel Weisz, because I knew in the comics that she was evil or had betrayed them at some point.
Yeah.
So then
there was chat to support that. By the way.
Well, and that's, so I was like, I know who it is. It's going to be her. And it ended up not even being her. And then I found out, well, Taskmaster is actually supposed to be a guy. And it was a guy who played the part when he had them. But I was like, I thought for sure it was a girl in the trailer.
Yeah, I love the size difference between Black Widow's Taskmaster. Then you got Thunderbolts Taskmaster. She's like, I don't know, like 50 pounds lighter. It's so funny.
But even within Black Widow, like there's scenes where they have like shown
it doesn't match
side by side. Yeah, it's way different. It's like that's a dude. That's
you might be able to answer this, or Paul, because I don't have my Taskmaster guy. Taskmaster has never been a woman, right? You know how sometimes they have women alternatives.
I don't think so. I think it was definitely gender swapped.
Okay.
No, that's never been a woman that I'm aware of, unless something happened in like the last 15 years or something.
Because like the Silver Surfer, there was a woman just for like a blip.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Silver.
Yeah, but we all know why they're choosing her.
Right.
I don't know why she's Julia Garner. She is not a good actress. She's
whoa! I have got to push back on that. So her performance in Ozark.
That's the only one.
No,
That's the only one.
no,
That's the
no,
only
no.
one.
What about the the fake
Your
heiress
little
miniseries?
Heiress show. I
Carol
have
is
not seen it.
fantastic in that.
Horrible. No, she
Apartment
I think she's a
78,
great
horrible.
actress.
Wolfman, horrible.
Horrible.
Like,
Yeah, that was bad.
everything. Yep.
So Wolfman. Yep.
I don't know, man. I disagree. I think she.
And
I
to
think
be
she's
fair,
She's got like
she's
a
okay as
6-year-old
an actress.
child, and she looks a couple years older than that child.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be fair, and I'm not trying to dunk on her, but I just got a caveat on what Nadia said, which is like her role in Ozark wasn't that difficult. Like she just basically screamed a lot, and she had a cheesy Kansas City accent. Now I do like some of the stuff, like, but that was more the writing. Like I did love her in Ozark, and I liked her character certainly. I mean, I like, she'd come up with little Kansas City colloquialisms, and I'd be like, damn, because I live in Kansas City, obviously.
Oh, do you? Cool.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that is so Kansas City right there. So I really like that. But at the same time, like Nadia says, it wasn't a very challenging part. And to play somebody with a weird fake Eurotrash accent in that other movie where she plays the fake heiress, that's not that difficult. Anybody can like do that. Like, everybody on this panel could do that. Oh my God, that's so crazy that my credit card didn't work. Wow.
I'd like to see Corey do it. Go ahead, action.
You can't put me on the spot. I gotta warm up my
Well,
voice.
Bro.
I have a question for you since you've seen The Wolfman. Do you believe those two were married at all at any
No.
point throughout that whole entire movie?
No.
Probably not,
I'll
but
say
mostly I didn't just care at all. It was the daughter and father relationship that they excelled at.
That was it. That was
I'll
it. She
I'll agree
she
with
could have
that.
just been written out of it, and just there could have just been no mom. Like do this up,
Or
opposite
just
Disney,
cast an appropriate right actress who looks like a mother.
and has chemistry with the main lead.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll say the
Correct.
father-daughter connection was way stronger.
I hated that
Yeah.
fucking movie. I saw it a year before it got released. I had a review
Oh, that's right. I
embargo,
remember you
and
talking about
I
that.
was fuming the entire year.
You
Everybody's
just
like,
wanted
"Oh,
to
I can't
scream
get
for a
that."
year, and you
I
couldn't
bet.
do
And
it.
it all makes sense as to why Ryan Gosling got out of there.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
Can you
yeah,
can
yeah.
you imagine
Oh,
Gosling
no.
paired up with that actress as his wife?
Oh.
Even the effect.
You wouldn't believe it. You'd
You
be
know-
like, no.
do you know
no.
when
Just
everybody
kidding.
was
I'm
like,
kidding.
It's like, is he babysitting her?
Do you remember when Halloween Horror Nights had the Wolfman as like a thing, and everybody's like, that can't be the makeup from the movie. No way they're gonna look like. No, it look. And the whole time I'm like,
but it was a different
looks like
character.
this.
But it was a different character.
but
It was a
the
different
makeup
Wolfman.
design. The makeup
It
design
was
is
similar.
insane.
It wasn't as crude.
It
wasn't as
oh,
crude, but
man.
it was close.
I think I rated that movie 2 out of 10 because I saw it for free, and I don't
No.
remember why I gave it a.
No, you're right to give it a low rating because the design of the Wolfman is not wolf-like enough.
Not
There's
Wolfman.
not
It's
enough
perfection.
hair on that fucker.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah.
enough hair. Robin
Not
Williams
even-
had more hair than that motherfucking
Oh,
design.
yikes.
Not quite.
It
not
didn't
quite.
even have any horror aspect to it. Like I had very predictable jump scares, no really big climax. It just did. I don't know what they were trying to talk about, but yeah, that movie.
It was flat.
So
So
somebody just
Thunderbolts.
brought- So
So
somebody-
Thunderbolts. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so somebody just brought
Just
up
a
a
small
good.
tangent there.
Somebody just brought up a good point about father-daughter story arc. I think the Yelena Red Guardian story arc. I think it's pretty good.
I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
it. The Red Guardian reminds me of my dad with his Middle Eastern accent and how he talks about things. So I
Yeah.
really related to that. That's how I talk to my dad back and forth. So I really liked that. I didn't, and funny enough, I found him to be so annoying in Black Widow, but it almost toned down a little bit in Thunderbolts.
It's
It
yeah.
flowed
It
better.
did, for
Yeah.
sure.
Just slightly. Just slightly.
Yeah.
I wish they
The
would have just
feel
cut
ripping
out
was
all
just
the
a little
funny
too much.
stuff here. They should have just went for the depressing tone and give
No.
us a big
And
revival
Marvel?
by
You're
the end
right.
of the
No,
film.
no,
Just cut
I
out the
totally
jokey
agree
crap.
with Brawler.
Just
The
go all
stuff,
in.
the scene when they're out on the street and it's between Red
That was
Guardian
great.
and Yelena, but they try to punctuate it with that was he says this very heartfelt thing about their relationship and etc. And this is her response to feeling moved and having some catharsis in a scene with her dad that they've had this separation of a year. That was really good. Okay.
You know why, though?
It's like, stop! Just fucking
Yeah,
don't say anything.
stop.
Cut
That's
that
the
line
James
out.
Gunn syndrome of the Marvel
Yeah.
that he has left on Marvel.
It's a
because-
Joss
It's
Whedon.
that,
It's a
but
Joss
it's also
Whedon
the fucking Tony Stark
It's
echoing
No,
type of
Such
stuff.
a
but
Yeah.
the
need to, like,
humor,
insert humor
the
in
humor in
serious moments.
Thunderbolts
Yeah.
for some
was
reason.
mismatched with the dark stuff. It didn't they
Yeah.
didn't pull it off. Like in the earlier Marvel movies, I felt like there was a better balance. In Thunderbolts, while
Yeah.
I did enjoy Thunderbolts, it did feel jarring to go from something that was so deep and dark and then they just make this flippant comment and it could just kind of snaps you right out of the
Well,
moment.
that's I think like a response to like Phase 2 when they had like Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, no, not Guardians of the
But that's
Galaxy.
when a lot of the comedy started, when it became
No,
much
what
more
he's saying-
lighthearted
Well,
and silly.
what I'm saying is like there was depressing movies like Iron Man
they
2,
didn't do good.
Thor:
And
The
they didn't
Dark
do
World
well.
that kind of they swung the pendulum entirely the opposite way, and then we got Thor Ragnarok, which was pretty good. But then it's like, Taika Waititi was given free reign, and then we got Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right,
Yeah,
he
everyone
wrote on
could
that movie.
see
He didn't
that.
write on
and it was just
Thor
like-
But
Ragnarok.
he introduced
Mm.
like just fucking dumb comedy.
Gar-
The James Gunn syndrome. I'm telling you, it's the date.
He's
fucking
not
Don't
all
hate
to
on James
blame.
Gunn.
Gunn is
Not
not all
He
to
is
blame.
part of the reason to blame because he
He's
started
part.
this whole.
He's
I
part of
can't-
it.
He's
It's
not
the
going to do
ju-
a good Superman. I'm just let's note it
Agreed.
here. Time it.
Agreed.
He's not going to.
Agreed.
Oh, I'm very much skeptical on the Superman. I'm
I'm
not
not even gonna waste my
anticipating
Don't
time.
hate
that
on
at all.
it.
I'm not going
I-
to.
I-
I'm looking forward to Superman,
Okay.
and I'm not a DC fan, so
Oh.
it
It's
like
the-
from the latest trailer, I think it looks like a dope movie.
Hard
Don't
pass,
let these
hard
guys
pass.
convince you otherwise, Paul. You're right. Be optimistic.
I'm gonna go.
James
I'm gonna go
got
see
it.
it. I love Superman.
James got it.
Clearly,
I'm-
this
I'm
conversation about
hoping-
Superman is rife with a lot of talk. Like,
I know, and I
God.
wish
but-
Slav came on because he's like
He's
the
very,
Superman
he
super
is the
fan.
cheerleader
Yeah, then-
for Superman.
Yeah,
was
and then
gonna
we
say,
can
I had
start
to take
talking
my
about the
mute
Dark
off to-
Knight trilogy again.
I had to take the mute off and support my Superman.
No, but-
I'm hopeful.
But
I got fingers
whatever
crossed on
else
that
we
one.
can talk about Thunderbolts, I think there's a couple more things to mine out of that.
Wait, can I bring
Yeah.
up something? So I did enjoy the movie. I was happy with it until the very end. Paul, I think you mentioned how you were happy with the end credit scene. I couldn't stand it. Immediately turned me off. I was
with the
Which
I
one?
shrugged out loud.
Oh,
one?
the
That
one
I
in the
didn't like
grocery
that. I
store?
didn't like seeing them as this high and mighty new Avengers group.
Uh,
I really couldn't stand
Oh.
the whole thing of them as the new Avengers.
Well,
now we get
okay,
all
okay,
this
okay, so-
promotional material. Them calling it the new Avengers. It's making me sick.
Well,
I can't.
I'll tell you
hold
why,
on,
Brawler.
hold
I'll tell
on.
you why you don't like it. It's because the Russo brothers wrote that segment. So there you go.
Well, okay, I'll blame
There
them.
you go.
I don't
Oh.
care.
There you go.
It ruined the whole movie for me.
So,
Yep.
so will your opinion change if I tell you that Spider-Man will lead the new Avengers?
I still don't care.
Oh?
I kind of feel like they might be headed into what they did in the comics when they had two Avengers teams out of necessity. They
What,
wound
like
up
East Coast, West Coast Avengers?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to kind of go for. If they're smart, that's what they'll go for. And to speak to Nadia's point, I do agree James Gunn has made it worse, but the original harbinger of dread where it comes to, nullifying serious scenes with quippy dialogue was Joss Whedon had done that in the original Avengers. And that is
Yeah.
still one of the biggest hits that they've ever had. And that's the blueprint where they go. That's why Joss Whedon's version of Justice League got so screwed up, because they were like, hey, we need quippy dialogue. That's why Suicide
Yep,
Squad, the
didn't work.
David Ayer cut, got screwed up, because they were like, hey, we need to have music and quippy stuff, just like Guardians of the Galaxy. And, there's properties where that works. There's certain properties where it does not work. So, and you can't, when your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And that is what they keep doing with the MCU.
So toxic. It wasn't Joss Whedon like the head writer or something with like some TV show from the 90s? Was he on like West Wing or something?
Are you being funny right
Was
now?
it
Are
the-
you
No. I
Seriously,
just
dude?
don't remember.
That was
Buffy.
Buffy.
Oh,
right?
Buffy.
Buffy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buffy? Dude,
What other ones?
Sorry,
I almost just
I'm
listened
just
to the
gonna
show.
I'm
Like,
gonna lay off the judgment. It's
Come on,
Bro.
man. I never watched
Kyle.
Buffy. I don't know.
I just got
Buffy.
accused by Nadia for not being a real nerd, but okay.
Yeah,
So
Buffy,
I won't judge
Angel.
too harshly.
Oh, like I see it, Kyle. I'm sorry.
So are you not familiar with the Whedonverse? Buffy, Angel?
Because I don't read
Firefly?
comics. That's no, that's not
No,
true.
No,
I'm
no,
just
hold on.
picking on you. Wow.
So what?
No, but this is a serious thing. I'll tell you off air. There's a story I could tell you about. When you don't read comics, people will say, "Oh, then you're not really not really.
You're like a
geek.
normie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not fucking true. It's just
not
movies.
It's not
I know movies. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Kyle, it's not because of that. It's just because you're devastatingly handsome. You look like a fucking action.
Look at Brawler.
So
Okay,
handsome.
turn your cam or whatever the view is. Okay, Brawler up there. He's the
I'm just
youngin.
saying.
He's the hot blood right now.
Well, debatable. But yeah,
Nice. Toxic loves me.
Okay, you're both beautiful. All right, let's go.
you're both.
Oh.
Look at that baby.
Did you just get your driver's license today?
Just got it. Just got it in the mail. I'm
Okay.
so proud
Hey,
of
Aw,
myself.
congrats.
My first one.
Brawler, what did you decide to spend that check for $12 you got from your grandma for? What did you do that with?
Oh gosh, milk money.
Oh, okay. Are
Which
you
was
okay?
a great movie, by the way. Anybody ever seen Milk Money?
I heard about
Yep.
that.
That was a
Yeah,
great
I've seen
movie
parts of
back
it.
then.
Yes.
Oh, for those that don't know, that's is it Melanie Griffith? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a hooker who then gets basically bought out by 3 12-year-olds, and they pay her. And Ed Harris
To
is in
teach
the movie.
anatomy in the
Yeah.
class.
Oh, it's I
They
saw that
draw
like
on
on TV, being aired on TV, and they cut it a little bit, but yeah, that was
We've all
that
been
was an
there.
interesting
We've
movie.
all been there.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just a spin on Pretty Woman, right? Or-
Yeah.
It is.
Off the cover. Listen, Buffy, Angel, Firefly.
Good way to come back.
Need
Firefly.
to get on those. buddy.
So-
But again, I do
How
agree.
is the dialogue in all of those?
Did you mention
It's funny,
Firefly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I missed that part. Okay, yeah,
So-
she's right.
Overrated.
Whedon developed this kind of style of popcorn, quippy dialogue.
I thought that was like West Wing.
No,
Because
no.
that shit was
That's
like
Aaron Sorkin, dude.
annoying. Like
That's an
people
Aaron
don't talk
Sorkin. That's an Aaron
It must
Sorkin
be
thing.
a time of the 90s
Right.
or early
Whedon
2000s.
Whedon developed this way of intercutting horror with this kind of quippy stuff that people would say, and you'd have certain characters say certain things. The problem is it's not used properly when he doesn't use it. Like, anyone can say whatever they want about Joss. I'm a huge Joss defender, but his stuff elevates the material, and he's the only one that kind of knows how to do it right. So they've taken this template and they employ it in every Marvel. Well, not every Marvel. I mean, there's certain stuff, but then they have this thing where they want to pull back. Like for example, the New Mutants. They should have went full horror with the New Mutants. They should have went all the way into the
that
horror.
existed.
Yeah, that's why they had a real opportunity to make something that was super super dark, and that would have lent itself to that material.
Wasn't the New Mutants? I want to say fuck. I'm pretty sure I have the New Mutants #1. Wasn't Cable part of that?
He was in the later iterations. In the early '80s one, Magneto was the head of the New Mutants.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then
I'm thinking about the like the Jim Lee era.
Yes, you're thinking like the 1990 era.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that being said, I mean, I know you probably want to move on from this topic soon, but if I could just say my one complaint about Thunderbolts, I overall did like it, but they made the huge mistake of taking these B-level tier heroes, enhanced human type heroes that are, basically good for, they could take on like a platoon of Marines or whatever. Even Yelena even says it, what, we all just punch and shoot. They took these B-level heroes and put them up against a Superman type. I hate that. Like, you can't have your adversary being so OP that it's just pointless. And everyone's talking about how good the fight scene was. I didn't really think it was. I thought that was a weaker moment.
I'm actually gonna push back on that because I think like the visual depiction of like depression and like mental illness was very well done. So when they go into
it was.
I think that worked really well. So for the first time ever, and I mentioned this in my review, which I'll mention to you guys, is that one of the MCU's problems is the lack of compelling villains. They're all like pretty forgettable, and it all started in Phase 1 when they made Red Skull like a one-off.
Yeah.
Where he's like Captain America's like
They fucks with that one. Yeah.
it's like Joker, Batman, Captain America, Red Skull. And so they finally brought it back, and I felt like he was a pretty compelling villain. That worked for me.
I'm not saying that he's not good as a villain. What I'm saying is they had this team of heroes that are kind of B tier.
Sure,
You know,
sure, sure.
none of them.
Well, I don't-
I mean, the reason why the Avengers worked was because you had like street level B tier people like Black Widow and Hawkeye, coupled with the next level up like Captain America and Tony Stark.
That's
And
why
then
you're gonna get it led by Spider-Man, as it did in the comics.
Okay, I mean, fair enough if that's what they wind up doing. But I mean, I'm just talking about this movie right here, in in its own little thing. And I liked everything that Bob did. I liked the whole character and the concept. But when you have a guy that has like god level type powers fighting these like low level, I mean, it's almost sort of pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, where's Spider-Man? Where's Daredevil? Where's Doctor Strange?
Well, they said in the movie that they're just disbanded. They don't exist anymore. The Avengers.
Where's Captain America though?
I mean, not everyone's
gone. They did. I mean, this is nothing new with the MCU. I mean, there's so many the
Who could
sideline.
really have beaten someone like him, though?
Doctor
I don't need him to be
still.
Captain Marvel, or I don't want to see her again.
I don't need
like
him to be
Doctor Strange.
back.
Like who?
He's coming back.
Right.
Jeez,
I don't need him to be beaten per se. I just need somebody to actually. There needs to be some sort of, it can't be so OP that it's like so ridiculous. It's
Well,
like
Thanos
Do you think it's
was a
think it's
huge
'cause
difference between all of them.
Do you think because it's Sentry's origin story in a sense, he doesn't know his like where his power strength is? He's still kind of discovering it, so
Yeah.
he himself might not realize that he is in a sense a god. Wait,
No,
didn't he call himself a god though? I think
I don't-
I think he.
So
I thought
that's
he
actually
did
like
at one
a
point.
big thing in the comics. Like, certain characters are like Omega level mutants or whatever, but they don't realize that they are particularly straight away.
I got the impression that he knew he was holding back and like let them walk out of the room, and because he could have just wiped them out.
Yeah, because
if he
there's
wanted
a point in the dialogue where he goes, "What's the point? I can beat them," or something to that extent.
like
when
everything
was
he
leaving.
did in that fight screamed of holding back. So whether he knows the extent of his powers or not, I think he definitely was just kind of. And then if you can flick your hand like Dr. Manhattan and just disperse somebody, or like
but that's not the Sentry. That's the Void. That's a different. That's a different.
Yeah, that's a different
regardless.
character.
And a different.
Regardless, though, I mean, if that's the adversary that you're going up against, and they can just flick their hand, it's like the
that's
dead.
basically why the ending worked, because
Yes.
like at the end he was just Bob, and they're going out to like try to deal with whatever, I guess the Fantastic Four, and he's like, yeah, I can't do that, otherwise the other guy comes out.
Sure, and that's fine when they start getting to Omega level threats that they're doing in Secret Wars and stuff. That's fine. I'm just saying for this one, I probably would have nerfed him in some kind of way, and it would have pissed off the comic book guys certainly. But at the same time, it would have made more sense to give me a reason why he's kind of nerfed. I mean, they did that to good extent in like Infinity War, where even though he had all of the stones, Thanos was still susceptible to Thor's battle axe thingy, and like he still managed to get a shot on him. Now, obviously, we know what happened with that, but at the same time, I just need the playing field just to be a little bit more believable, because there's no tension in the story for me if it's just like, what's the point? That's why I don't like Final Destination movies, because what's the point? You might as well just die, because it's gonna go. It's gonna come up with that.
Well, I could say the same thing about zombie movies. Like at some like. So for every other like the slasher flicks, just fucking call the FBI, call the cops, whatever. But for a zombie movie or like an alien invasion movie, yeah, good fucking luck, because you might as well just put a bullet in your head. The situation is hopeless. You can survive for a time, but eventually they're gonna get you.
I can survive a zombie apocalypse.
Well, getting back to him being so OP, and people were complaining about the final confrontation and how it was won by them. They were kind of ridiculing it. Oh, they beat him by giving him hugs and love. Well, how else were they really supposed to?
No,
beat
I'm
him?
okay with that. No, I'm okay. Yeah, no, I'm okay
I didn't
with
have
that.
an issue with the way the fight resolved. I thought that was the best way it could have happened given the circumstances.
Yeah.
It felt real to me. It didn't feel like it was forced or anything. I actually I liked it too. I was kind of moved by it almost.
Yeah, same. I was too.
I want to say something about the new Avengers / Thunderbolts. I think that whether it be intentional or not, the movie screamed out to me to be a allegory for coming out of the fucking shutdowns of 2020. and the effects that it has had. They talk about people being on their phones, being on electronics, and being alone.
Yeah.
The shit that happened to people is still echoing. There's an article that just came out of children from their parents that were basically imprisoned by their parents to quarantine still. This is recent news, guys.
Mhm.
So the idea of this movie, again, whether it be intentional or not by the filmmakers, I think is a nicely done, fitting allegory for the effects of the shutdowns and what
I mean, the
had
shutdowns
not-
caused depression and all these symptoms that they were written into this movie too, as well. So I can see that correlating with it. I will say,
Go
I
ahead.
did like the Void's design. I thought that was very creepy. I
Yeah.
thought that was
He looks
very good.
great.
Yeah, the only thing I would have liked is his eyes just like a notch brighter to just with the contrast a little bit. But I thought it was very creepy. It creeped
So
me
one,
out.
it was.
one
No, it
thing I
was
gotta ask, because
simple
I'm
and
not
creepy.
like remembering
Yeah.
right now. Has there been in the MCU so far, other than, I mean, that's not really a cape. Has there been a caped hero?
Thor.
Doctor Strange.
Thor, Doctor
Yeah,
Strange,
Doctor Strange.
Vision,
Vision.
Vision,
Oh,
yeah.
which is essentially he kind of was Vision
Okay.
to some degree.
Whatever the hell happened to Vision after the Disney Plus show?
Are we
'Cause,
supposed
like,
to be
he's like
getting
the
a
White
show
Vision.
or a movie?
Yeah, he's getting a show. I don't know why. Why?
Stop at the
Why?
shows, Disney. It's not working.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear
Agreed.
that story?
Stop
I
the
don't want to
shows,
hear that
Disney.
story.
There were three things there were three prerequisites to watch in this movie: Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and what the hell was the other one? I've already forgotten.
Ant-Man and the
Secret
Wasp.
Invasion or something.
No.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh,
Kinda.
that's
Ant-Man
where
and the
she's
Wasp.
from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Got it. That's how forgettable she was.
She was such a downgrade from her appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Nobody's talked about this. I was like, it distracted me when I saw
Like
her
in
on screen.
hotness or-
Well, no,
or
her
her
suit,
costume?
her costume was hideous in this.
Wait, who?
She looked good in Ant-Man.
Ghost.
Ghost. I
The
love
old
her
white was
costume in
better.
Ant-Man. My gosh, was she ugly in this? Like this costume,
Oh.
this big globe head. It didn't
yeah.
look cool at all. She looked
Yeah.
great in the gray suit. I don't
If-
know. That really bothered me for some reason.
I
If
got
was in charge of
confused
the
on who
MCU
Taskmaster was and Ghost was at first.
They
yeah,
look
because
the
of
same
the
in
globe
this
head.
too.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. Yeah.
Well, I mean, luckily
was-
you didn't have to worry too much about Taskmaster very much.
Yeah,
in
she
this
was
movie.
out pretty
No.
quickly. Again,
That was
it did
good
surprise
news.
me that they killed.
I mean,
off,
that's
that
fan
actress.
service if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, it was.
My husband
I
cheers.
Finally, we
I
get
bet he
what we
did.
want.
I'll bet he did. I bet your husband pulled a Alexi. He was like, "That's what I talk about." But yeah, no, I stand on the fact that was Marvel's apology to the fans. It was like, listen,
Yeah.
this is it. This horrible Taskmaster from Temu is gonna be gone, and we'll put the real one in later on down the line.
Now all they need to do is to course correct when it comes to the Silver Surfer femme.
Yeah.
No.
Silver
So
Surfer.
Kyle, that's gonna go away after Franklin merges all the universes, and then we'll get, I guess, what is it, Nora and Rad, the original Silver Surfer. Don't worry, like
You only have to
God,
wait
Yeah,
3
but
years.
it's annoying.
You just
It's
gotta go
annoying.
through that
Why do
awful
we have to go
Fantastic
through
Four
that
movie.
shit just
Yeah.
to get to this?
I'm not
I don't want to
watching-
see. I don't want to see Fantastic Four.
I don't either. I
Once
don't
I
either.
found
no.
out what
So
they
I
did with Silver
completely
Surfer, I was
disagree with
out.
you.
And Paul,
After this,
why does the female version have to have an adolescent body?
it doesn't fucking, like, honestly, like, I don't really give a shit because we'll eventually get the other one. The thing is, in order to, like, there's no feasible way to merge all that shit so we can finally get X-Men.
Yes, there is.
Properly done.
Yes, there is. Have a good Fantastic Four movie. Say goodbye to the rest of the legacy characters. Have a great Fantastic Four movie. Bring them over to whatever the main fucking Earth is, and then somehow with them coming
that's
over.
what's going to happen. Franklin
But I'm
is
saying
going to
they're
merge
not going
them
to
all.
have a good launch. The whole point is to have a good launch pad, and they're not going
Well,
to.
they're,
With this
they're going for the
Fantastic
soft
Four movie.
reboot. They're clearly
Not
going
with
for the
Pedro
soft
Pascal
reboot.
as.
That's not necessarily the one we'll wind up with.
I'm so worried. I think
after the merger.
My biggest concern with Fantastic Four isn't even the girl Silver Surfer or anything. I'm afraid we're gonna get a limp dick Reed Richards, and I
We
really
are.
I
Yeah,
want
we
him.
are.
I
We
want
are.
him to be.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
want him to
strong
be the
language
leader.
coming from Brawler,
Yeah,
Did
guys.
you hear what they
I
changed?
want the
Johnny?
leader, the
Yeah,
strong-willed,
they changed
confident
Johnny.
Brawler,
smart guy.
your mom isn't like near your room, is she? Because if you have
I
to get off
my
the
own
screen,
place, Toxic. This is my
They
place.
changed
Brawler, they're
Johnny, and then
changing Johnny.
Sue
He's
Storm.
not a womanizer
did you get
anymore.
Yeah, not-
emancipated
he's
from
not
your
a
parents or
womanizer.
something? Or,
Got
like-
kicked out.
And Sue Storm is talking about it's going to be about women's issues and shit.
Oh
So
god.
yeah,
Yeah.
that just like more nails in the coffin for
I don't know.
Fantastic Four.
Maybe
for
it's
me.
not after Thunderbolts. Maybe it's not.
No,
gonna be.
it's not.
What
I'm
I
telling
mean
you,
is, that is the nail in the coffin for my interest. I was already not interested when I found out what they did with Silver Surfer, and then the more that Johnny, and then Sue Storm with her stuff, and no,
I don't
Can
like
I just
Johnny. I can't
add
stand that
some
actor.
digital heavies.
I
to
I don't
like
like
him.
Joseph Quinn at
I
all.
like
Not even a little
him.
bit.
I
No,
just
that's
don't
totally
like what
fair.
they're
I'm
doing
with
with
Brawler.
him.
I'm with you
Let's
on
go,
that.
Kyle.
I like
Let's
Joseph
go.
Quinn. I like
Are
him.
you
Take
kidding
that,
me?
Toxic.
Do we not talk about how Chris Evans was Johnny Storm, and then we do this
I'm not saying
multiple
that. I just,
step down
no,
to
I'm
this
not,
guy?
I'm not saying-
worse.
I'm not defending Fantastic Four. I'm just saying that actor was great
Yeah,
in Stranger
he's-
He
Things.
was great in
and
Warfare.
He was
I'll
a
give him that.
fantastic
Yeah, he
in
was really good
It's
Warfare.
in
the
Warfare.
context.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh yeah,
context.
he was in Warfare.
Yeah, but it's
Yes.
the context.
So that's actually a great segue, which we can finally talk about.
I got
Thank
you.
you, Tox.
Wait a minute. How you
Just
doing,
because
Corey?
the guy worked in one role doesn't mean he fits, say, a Johnny Storm.
Do you mean like a
You know?
Julia Gardner?
Ooh.
Wait, what?
Julia Gardner, who works in one role but does not
And
work in
hasn't done
every
shit
other
in
role.
any of the other roles that she's done.
Our Silver Surfer, Julia Gardner.
Oh.
The
So
actor.
I thought.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
She's
saying-
not right for that. She has an
She was
adolescent's
digging-
body.
She
Yeah.
was digging at.
They
she was
could
digging at
digitally
the
add
host.
some heavies into there, like
Yeah, like
you know.
digitally scan Sydney
Some
Sweeney, and then
Even
composite
bigger,
that
man.
onto her body. Yeah.
Can you imagine Sydney Sweeney as the female Silver Surfer? That would have been.
It would be
She
sold
coulda
out. the
pulled it
first
off,
day.
man.
It didn't
She coulda
matter
pulled
if
it
it was
off.
Pedro Pascal. It would have been
She
sold
could
out.
have pulled it
the
off.
first day.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing about a female Silver Surfer, I don't think that huge tits would work for that.
Why?
Mm.
She has cosmic.
I
She has
think
cosmic
the-
powers.
The Silver Surfer is more like thin, lanky.
She has cosmic powers. She can carry him. It's okay.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm on
There's
mute.
no problem in
I'm on
space,
mute,
dude.
but I'm
There's no problem with that in space. In fact, it actually would, in terms of the longevity, it would help her.
I'm on mute, but I'm expressing my, I don't know, reactions to the comments there.
So who here has seen Warfare?
Hey,
Oh yeah.
I've seen it
All
twice.
right.
I want
I've
to.
seen it
I want
twice.
to get
Wait,
to
Kyle,
it.
have you not seen it?
Oh,
Not yet. I'm
Kyle.
getting there.
Ooh.
This is a must see.
It's
I
You
don't
need
do
to
war
see it in
movies.
theaters too. I mean, you know what? I saw this just in a standard theater. I wish I had
Yeah.
a chance to see it in IMAX.
I
My gosh,
wish,
the
yeah.
theater experience was like an IMAX. The walls were vibrating. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
could you not,
Like I went to like
feel
a
the
regular
bullets
shitty old theater,
vibrating
and,
your
yeah.
bones. I could feel them.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
wow. It was so
Yeah, it's
incredible.
crazy.
My gosh.
No, it's right up my alley. I was a huge fan and almost a supporter and like campaigned for the Hurt Locker back in 2010 or 2011 whenever it came out. And 2009. So yeah, even a year earlier than that. No, huge fan of that movie.
Yeah,
And
so now we're
this
getting-
seems like a spiritual, brother or sibling to that movie.
I'll take it even further. I think it's more like Deer Hunter to the Vietnam War as Warfare is to Iraq War. Like
Explain.
it's that level of not necessarily like dramatic flair or whatever, but just like deep ass messaging as to like what was fucked up about both those wars.
Mm. Deer Hunter. That's a Vietnam War movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good? Is it worth watching?
Yes.
Friggin' fantastic.
Wow.
I
Christopher
didn't
Oh,
Walken.
Toxic doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like
very over. I mean, you're never really going to get a whole lot of. I'm one of those veterans that I don't have PTSD and I don't understand it a lot. I mean, I sympathize with it and empathize with it, but like one of my paratrooper buddies put on my Facebook profile one time on Memorial Days, like he put a meme up that said, "If you're a sociopath, you don't get PTSD." So I was just like,
Oh,
okay,
geez.
I'll take that. I'll take it.
Hey,
whatever.
Toxic, were you a ranger?
No, it's a paratrooper.
Okay. Sorry. So can you just explain the distinction?
In the Army, the tier of special forces goes paratrooper, ranger, SF, like the unit, Green Beret, like that. So that's the
Okay.
tier.
Got it.
So they're all at Fort Bragg, but you have to be a paratrooper to be a ranger. You got to be a ranger in order to get into SF.
Got it. Thank you.
But these guys in warfare were SEALs or
Yeah, they were
Buds.
SEALs.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of people disagree with this view of or with my view of this movie. I think like the deep core message, especially like I mean the ending was like very super obvious to me, where like both the troops the U.S. troops go home and the whatever the hell you want to call them, go their separate ways is like a perfect allegory to how fucking pointless that war was.
Well, it wasn't a pointless war. It's in order to keep you guys driving your vehicles and keeping petroleum going. That's the point of that war.
Well, it's more the fact that I'm gonna go deep on the conspiracy here. Saddam Hussein, just like Gaddafi, was trying to start trading oil on euro, and the New York Fed over there can't have any threat to the supremacy of the U.S. dollar. So that was the main rule, and then it was to make fucking Dick Cheney and George W. Bush even richer. Is basically what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, to an extent. I mean, it's like I don't think if you ever get a chance, take a look at the TV show Landman on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Oh, okay. So
that's how I discovered Brawler.
Okay, so that'll give you sort of a hint of how important. Like I went over there as a U.S. Army sergeant, and I stayed over there because I was hired on by a security company called Blackwater, which you may or may not have heard of.
Whoa! Back up.
Did I hear BlackRock?
Hold on. You actually worked for Blackwater.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Jeremy Scahill's book on that subject?
Yes.
What is your opinion on the book?
Listen, everybody did lots of bad shit over there, especially the contractors, but it wasn't because of no reason. They were doing the insurgents, the Iraqis, they were all doing much worse stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, they'd catch us and hang us by our intestines over the bridges in Baghdad before we took over Baghdad. So I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but like the worst horrors that you could possibly conceive of happen in those kind of third world countries where, if you have guns, and you have more guns than the person that you're around, you're going to be in charge. And the political nature of what we did over there, especially during the time I was there between 2010 and 2013, like Obama pulled all the troops out as a gesture to Iraq, but kept all of the security services, which is how I got that job. Because I was leaving and they said, hey, do you want to just take a contract with us? And they would take operators and just put us in security positions over there. That's where I met Chris Kyle, you guys would know from American.
No shit, really?
Wow, that's cool.
From what? From who?
American
From what?
American Sniper.
Oh,
Bradley
okay.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Well, the guy Bradley Cooper plays.
Yeah.
He wasn't famous when I met him. He was just another operator.
This is slightly a tangent. What is your opinion on the Jesse Ventura, Chris Kyle incident?
Jesse Ventura is a fucking piece of shit to be going after the widow of probably one of the greatest heroes in the Middle Eastern wars during that time. Chris Kyle saved so many people's life. Jesse Ventura was in Nam for like a matter of months, and I'm not shitting on anything that he did or didn't do. I like Jesse Ventura. I love Predator, stuff like that. But at the same time, to go after the widow of this American hero is just disgusting. Like, just because you came off bad in the book. Now, whether anything's exaggerated or not exaggerated, I mean, you could read my book, and there's the stuff that is true that happened. Some of it's slightly exaggerated for narrative purposes and stuff like that. But just because he came off like an asshole in the book doesn't mean that you have the right to go after this guy's widow. I mean, Chris Kyle was the coolest dude. Even before that, I knew he was Chris Kyle. All I knew him as was Overwatch 1 because he was a sniper at one of the bases that I was working security at. And he just called me up, on the radio, saw me driving around doing my checks. And he called me to his position and he was like, hey, usually you Blackwater guys are just sleeping in your trucks. I'm like, well, I don't do that. I'm a MP. in the real world, so I don't sleep on duty. And he's like, cool, you want to look at my scope? And I was like, okay. And and we talked about rifles and shit. And he was cool. He's like, you want some dip? And I'm like, I don't chew tobacco. He's like, okay, cool, man. Well, hey, I'll be watching you, so just keep doing what you're doing. You look like you're cool. I told him about MP stuff, and he told me about Navy SEAL stuff. He didn't say Navy SEAL. They don't say that. They say I'm with the teams or I'm buds or something like that. We did the whole back and forth Army versus Navy bullshit with each other for a little bit, and he was just a cool guy. I met lots of Special Forces guys over there, and they were all.
Did you ever meet who's that black guy, the Reaper, the Grim Reaper? They called him.
No.
There's like some black guy that's like one of the most phenomenal snipers of the U.S. military.
No,
I don't know. I saw this little like mini doc on YouTube about him. I'm like,
you kind of have to travel in those circles. Like I only met Chris by total chance.
Oh, okay.
So it's just because he would travel. He was an operator who would travel from base to base, and he would make the places more secure because he would overwatch and he would teach tactics to Marines and into other sailors and to regular Army or even to contractors like myself. He would teach these things that would help people stay alive, and he wasn't a showboat about it, and he was totally chill about it. I've only seen that movie just the once, just because it's like heartbreaking. I can't even bear to watch it. I saw it the one time when I was getting my knee reconstructed at the VA, and only because I couldn't walk out of the movie room by myself because my knee was all elevated and I couldn't move was the only reason I didn't walk out of the movie, just because it like really chewed me up.
Now,
so,
how do you feel about warfare in terms of that? Like,
very accurate. They do a great amount of the boredom of sitting around.
Yep.
Yeah, they do a really great job of showing the tediousness and the boredom, calling in your position. I mean, you guys might have seen on the screen, I'm doing security work now, and I just, while we were doing it, I had to call in and give a check to, the main desk where I work at and stuff. And security is very, very boredom. Surveillance sucks. You got to pee in a bottle. Sometimes you piss your pants like Chris Kyle did in the movie in American Sniper. Wow. And it just sucks. And then when things happen, they happen so fucking fast. And, some these guys who are professional operators, some of them made good choices. Some of them made bad choices. That the one guy that operates their satellite feed, James Gandolfini's son, accidentally hitting himself with the morphine stick because he did it wrong. I mean, in the heat of combat, stuff like that happens. You got the other guy so gung-ho he kicks Joseph's legs while he's on the ground. I don't know I forget what his character's name is, but when his legs
that was a great scene.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's so realistic and so well done. And of course, the opening scene where they show them looking at
the music video,
looking at some cheesy music video and getting all hyped up. I mean, that was a thing that we would do. And
that was actually a very popular song. I looked it up. It was so there's this club in London called the Ministry of Sound, but they also put out like the most popular techno dance songs or whatever of the year. And it was on the 2006 or 2007 annual. That same song was like the track one, which was pretty interesting.
Which song was it?
Call on Me.
It was the Call on Me one.
Yeah.
Call on Me.
I remember that remix from high school.
Yeah. And so, and I saw like a bunch of interviews with some of the soldiers, and they said they actually watched that music video.
Yeah,
which was fantastic.
They have this thing overseas. It's called Armed Forces Service Radio. So, like, if you ever seen that Robin Williams movie, Good Morning Vietnam. So they have like a radio station that will play American stuff, but they are only allowed to have like 12 or 13 fucking songs. So during your time there, if you listen to that, like if you're in a vehicle that you can't get your Bluetooth to attach to, you're forced to listen to that unless you know Arabic. And so you listen to like the same 12, 13, 14 songs, like in a 12-hour shift. It drives, but then it's earwig. It gets stuck in your ear. So like everything from like 2010 to 2013 that was like popular songs, like anytime one of those comes up, I'm instantly brought back over there. So it's crazy.
And so I know like every civilian or anyone who's never been in that situation will ask the question, why didn't they just cap the guy making the phone call or whatever on the rooftop. They
There's
knew what was coming.
Well, they
Like the
don't.
Geneva Convention, or
Well, that I mean, there's RO, and sometimes you can do something like that and make the situation worse. Sometimes if the guy just was talking to his broker or doing something like that, like say he was calling home or checking on a family member, whatever, that they could have pissed off the crowd, and that's what made the crowd turn against them or something like that. Like sometimes you're being bracketed, and I think they figured it out pretty quickly that they were being bracketed. But at the same time, they didn't know the level and the strength of the enemy that was coming at you. That's the thing. The Iraqis, the insurgents, they hide behind regular people. It's like if you were in a shopping mall and there was like 20 bad guys in there, but you didn't know where they were.
The Covenant.
Yeah,
I was getting ready to say that, Megan.
Yeah, and they just pop out of there at any given time, and you don't know who's who. They walk around with rifles and stuff like that. Like it's not like you see somebody with a rifle and you can just go, oh, there's a bad guy, because it could just be a farmer that has a rifle. They're allowed to have guns. So I mean, unless you're in like this one security, and you have to also remember, almost everything that we're doing over there was considered illegal by the president over there, by the Iraqi officials. And in reality, they did a home invasion and broke into these people's home and just took it over.
Do we ever know why they were doing that? Like, what was the point?
They were supposed to be assisting some other team that was
Right.
supposed to be doing something.
There was another team that was
supposed to be keeping an eye out.
Right. So they were like Overwatch. And so you have like a mission. So you'll have like one platoon or one squad or whatever, which is the one that folds into them later on into the film. They are out clearing houses and checking for something, maybe a high value target, maybe WMDs, who knows, whatever they're checking for. And then you have another squad, or in this case, a platoon that is doing, just Overwatch surveillance or surveillance target acquisition. And so that was their job to do that. Unfortunately, there's danger in being the moving entity, the one that's doing static security and or doing operations. There's a danger in that, obviously, but there's even more of a danger in being the Overwatch, because you're stuck in one place, and then once they get a beat on you and your location is out, then all they got to do is get their elements together. And it's not like they have to like call a committee and get a platoon or a squad or whatever together. They just hand rifles and grenades out to random people on the streets and be like, hey, there's Americans over there, let's go kill them. And that's exactly how that stuff kicks off. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. They should have probably popped that guy, but
you can't, by definition of like international law.
They have a thing called ROE, which is rules of engagement. And you have to adhere to those, or else you wind up in Leavenworth. So
now, which was actually the plot point, and I mean, it was such a fucking good book, Lone Survivor.
Right.
But I'm gonna like propose a question to the group. What did you guys think of like the narrative choices, the actors' portrayals, and that sort of stuff?
I thought it was fantastic. I specifically liked that there was no score, because I felt that was a score in itself, in a way. And I do like that there wasn't overt political commentary. It was just showing kind of day in the life. And
the silence was loud.
Yes.
My gosh.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's my number one of the year so far.
Well, it's not mine, but it was number 2.
What's your number one?
It's number 2. It was my number one right now is Better Man.
Oh.
Better Man is absolutely my number one.
Is that 2025?
I thought that was last year.
I'm counting it 25 because it officially got a wide release in January.
Okay.
So I'm counting it as the 25, even though I know it's not.
Sure.
Sinners has overtaken Warfare. So
Yeah,
I think
me too.
Warfare is number 3
Me too.
now.
Me too.
Yeah.
How many people have seen Sinners?
I haven't yet.
I've seen it twice.
Okay.
I want to go see it again.
I want to go see that one.
Yeah, me too.
Better Man's supposed to be showing up. Better Man's supposed to be showing up Tuesday.
Yeah, it's already pre-ordered.
Wow.
My Blu-ray stuff, because
the thing with me, what you'll find if you do more streams with me, or if you watch any of my channel, my biggest thing with films is rewatchability. Warfare does not really, as good as it is, and it is great, it doesn't really lend itself to a lot of rewatchability, because it is a tough watch, and it's one of those things that it's not one of those war movies that I can really do, and that's not just me personally. I think a lot of people might say that as well. Whereas Sinners is just great cinema, and it's got a lot of things that you'll catch on a rewatch that maybe you didn't catch before and stuff like that.
Yep.
With Warfare, it's like what you see is what you get. But if you're asking me how it is, like overall tone, plot, story, I think it's great. I think all the actors were firing on all cylinders, and I feel like the realism was great. I'm glad they had veterans that created it and directed it and all that kind of stuff. I agree. I like the lack of a score. And they got if you want to ask like the technical stuff, did they get this right? Did they get they got everything right as far as I could tell. I didn't see anything that was, when you're a subject matter expert on somebody, whether you play the piano, you're a chef and watching The Bear, or you're a comic book aficionado, or you're an ex-military person watching. So I mean, listen, obviously it's known that we're the worst people to watch military or cop movies with, because we're like, that gun doesn't shoot that many bullets, and that doesn't do that. But everything looked pretty realistic. The terminology they used was very realistic. The way they reacted under fire and stuff like that was all good. I thought it was, just really realistic.
So speaking of realism, I got to shout out to a show. I want to say it's on HBO Max, but I get it on the C's. The Pit. So I know several ER physicians, and they all said it's like, a couple of them are like, I can't watch this. Like, this is too traumatizing. It's very real.
Now, me and my girlfriend binged that we got the whole thing. Luckily, we had gotten it on my Plex Pass after it had already aired all the episodes, and we binged it like episode out. It's the only woke TV show since the woke thing happened that I actually think is really good, and the wokeness is forgivable. So
how is it woke?
They make sure to inject a lot of, they make the anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, the obvious bad guys. They do, they make sure that they've got main characters that are on the spectrum, but their spectrum is their superpower. They do a lot of the, they bring up the transgenders thing, school shooters where it's obvious, or in this case, a concert shooter, and the reaction to that. They make sure that they have the political, bullshit between the head chief of staff versus the guy. Terms like white privilege is brought up, things like that. I mean, listen, but it doesn't.
This show must be really fucking good with all these traits, man.
The show is good. I stand on it, and I know that there's people in my circle, the toxic white male patriarchy meat eaters that are just like, I'm not watching that woke shit. As soon as they say that, I'm out. But it's like it didn't bother me, and it actually kind of lent itself to the material, so I'm okay with it. It wasn't inorganic. It was, I think it plays, and that's my opinion. You may disagree. Like, there could be somebody that just goes, no, that pulled me right out of the story. But I was enthralled, and I don't like medical stuff. That's not.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty great. I got a buddy who worked at Queen's Hospital, like at the height of the pandemic, like in March of 2020. And he eventually, I want to say, like, is it this year? Maybe late last year. He was like, yeah, fuck New York City ERs. Like, I'm done. And he just went to administration. They're just wildly disorganized here.
It's the only other medical drama I've ever watched besides ER. So,
yeah, I've seen a few others. It's not particularly my thing.
The Nick.
Given that the fact that I have so many doctor friends, like, whatever.
I
get the real life shit from them. Which offline sometime, I will tell you, like, two of the most fucking redonkulous stories from my friends in the ER.
Wait, Paul, can I? Oh, wait.
It's too rated X to talk about it live.
Paul, can I just ask one quick question about Warfare? I'm really curious about what everybody thinks. I don't think I've mentioned it in this stream before, but this is something I'm so curious about, is why don't they make more war movies? I mean, we aren't getting any of them anymore. I mean, we had Civil War last year with Alex Garland. You have Warfare now, and then as someone was mentioning in the chat, talking about Covenant. I can't really think of any more titles in the last few years.
You mean
Can you?
modern?
Well, there's one. There's and I think it's a pretty great one. Was All Quiet on the Western Front, the German edition.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
I'll say that with that talk about movies that are great that are hard to go back and rewatch. Maybe I won't go back right away. Is that the remake of All Quiet?
Yeah,
that's a great movie, but that's a hard one to go back.
Don't forget 1917.
Oh yeah, well that was a while ago.
Film.
That was like 2019 or something, wasn't it? Like 2018.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. They're just not making very many, and I just wonder why.
I get a sense it's because they expended their cachet of what they could do in the early 2000s while the wars were going on. You have movies like Green Zone, which was critical of the movie, and me and Paul sat down and talked about that movie.
You mean critical of the war?
Yeah. You had a lot of movies that were doing that during the war, which was very unique comparative to how it was in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the early 2000s did get us Black Hawk Down and a bunch of other really awesome movies.
Another great movie that's hard to rewatch, Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down. Wasn't the one with Jude Law? He's the sniper in
Enemy at the Gates.
That movie kicked ass.
Do you box office brawler? Are you talking about just war movies in general, or specific?
Yeah, well, I feel like
recent?
any time that I see a war movie in the theaters, I'm interested immediately. I want to see it. I just like that's what I'm into. I mean, guys are just they're into that sort of that sort of quality, right? And we're just not getting fed it. It's so strange. I mean, you got to thank Alex Garland. I mean, he gave us two out of like 4 in the last like 5 years. It's been so dead. I want to see it in the theater too. Because I saw Civil War for as much crap as it got. I understand people's criticisms. I really enjoyed Civil War. I saw it in IMAX too. And it's just you don't get that kind of quality unless that's the focus.
Yeah, maybe it's because of the rewatch. I mean, after 9/11, we had a lot of patriotism in this country. So like stuff like Black Hawk Down and We Were Soldiers and stuff like that was very, very well received. But I think war has kind of, the real life version of it has really put a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah,
they had a FX TV show in 2005 called Over There, which was
that show was fucking great.
Yeah, but it wasn't well received because at that point we were like Abu Ghraib had happened, and the WMDs were found to be bullshit, and it was a blood for oil type mentality and things like that. So it wasn't, it didn't go on. I actually did a live stream last Memorial Day or Veterans Day about that show. I think it's great. It's lived on. I've got it on my Plex Pass, but box off over there. Yeah, I have it on my Plex Pass. It's hard. It was hard to find. I'm not gonna lie. Box office. You should be old enough to serve in about 4 or 5 years. Are you thinking about maybe
in about 5 or 6 years?
If you want to talk to a recruiter, I probably can help you out.
I'll let you know in 5 years. I know who to contact. Thanks.
Yeah. No. I mean, we haven't gotten like a Saving Private Ryan level war movie.
Yeah.
The thing is, there needs to be, I'll tell you this, I'm willing to bet you that in about 15, 20 years, there's going to be a flood of Iraq, Afghanistan war conflict type films. The problem is you have this large group of the public who has loved ones that served, and then you have the people that did serve, and it's like, it's hard to, even me who's sort of compartmentalized, it still is like I told you, like I probably won't watch Warfare again unless my girlfriend wants to watch it, and I'll watch it with her, and I won't watch American Sniper again. So like the Soldiers of Benghazi, 13 Hours, I can't watch that because I actually knew a few of those guys, and I was in Iraq at the time that happened. So it's like certain stuff, so it's like, what audience are you trying to, you're either going to a no pun intended, battle fatigued, audience of people who have loved ones that they've lost or suffered from the war, or guys that were actually there. So it's like it's kind of one of those things. Whereas like with Saving Private Ryan, coming out in the late 90s, I think people were far enough removed. But I would point out that to my knowledge, like World War II vets that were still alive and watched that opening Normandy beach scene, like they were traumatized and had to like walk out of the theater because it was so real.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. So I think
Isn't
there was.
there-
I think there was
because
a.
there's no like we're not patriotic as much as a country either, so we're not.
It could be, yeah.
We're not
Could be
willing
that.
to
No,
put
so I
the
think
money into that.
it goes with like the lulls of, let's say, like 3D movies, 1950s, 1980s, 2010s. Like starting in the mid 80s to about 1998 when Saving Private Ryan came out, we had a lull in war movies, like post Vietnam, and now we're getting like we went through the peak of like Iraq war movies, so that we're going into a lull, and there's going to be more coming in about, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, I would estimate.
Something I love about war movies is I just love the show of realistic heroism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing real heroes, and patriotic. Seeing patriots, your fellow man, defending their country and making sacrifices so that we all can be where we are today.
And
It's
not only that, it's like the brothers in arms, like
yes,
taking
I
care of
love
each other.
that. Yeah, especially in warfare. Yeah, the brotherhood that they had, and you just don't see that in anything else. And us young men, we're definitely desperate to watch that content, and that's why we're going back to the older stuff. I think there's a lot of young people just like me that are going back and watching the good quality content, because people, even young people like me or younger, we're not that stupid. You know what I mean? I don't think we're all just a bunch of sheep. I think a lot of people are sheep, but there's a lot of people a lot of my friends, they see the garbage when they smell it. You know what I mean? And we look at the old stuff, and we talk about the old stuff too. Same for the old movies. I just mentioned in the chat, We Were Soldiers is one of my favorites. I loved We Were Soldiers. That's always gonna just live in my heart.
I get a sense, Brawler, that you're in the minority.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No. So I mentor a few college kids in my alma mater, Go Knights, and I hear the same thing as what Brawler's saying, that they're sick of the I guess demasculinization that's been going on. They're actually like really sick of it, looking for leadership. Some of them turn to Andrew Tate. I mean, none of the ones that I mentor, but funny enough, I just thought about this because I finished the book a couple months ago. There's a great book called Of Boys and Men by Richard Reeves. It's actually, so it's about like gender issues, gender inequality, but from the male perspective. And so it's like showing how women have superseded men in academia, for example. There's more women in medical school than there are men. And
that's usually been the case, though.
But not necessarily. And so the solution, so he said, to push more men into teaching. So for example, like there's no, like pretty soon it's going to be like completely 100% female teachers, especially at the younger age. And then young boys don't have anybody to look up to that resembles them essentially. So you want to like bring equity. Like he suggested like men going into nursing to sort of equalize the problem, because like now like we're becoming a little lopsided again, but to the other end.
I just think back on Meet the Parents and how they make fun of Ben
Well,
Stiller.
yeah, and you should you should.
You're a nurse fucker.
So wait, you're telling me, Paul, women should go back into the kitchen? I'm
no,
totally cool with
no,
it.
not
Let's
at
do
all.
it.
That's not what I'm saying. Like,
No, but that'd be cool if you were, because Nadia's
that'd
up for it, actually.
Yeah, I'm up for
She
it.
likes
Let's do
that.
some women do, different strokes for different folks, but no,
Horses for different courses.
I stayed in the hospital. That's why I was off YouTube for a while. But there was a couple male nurses, super fucking cool. I talked to one of the guys. I'm like, yo, you're fucking jacked. And like the dude was like 22, 23. Like,
and then he asked you on a date.
No,
That's where this is
Hey,
going,
North
Kyle.
Korea's
we, you know,
really
we
good
talked
money,
about
though.
lifting. There is something to be said, like for equality in everywhere, but in certain areas, like it's become lopsided. So it's a shitload more nuanced. I really recommend everybody read the book of Boys and Men, because it's a freaking great book, and it shows just how fucking complicated the issue is, and way more nuanced than anybody's ever trying to give it credit for. But so on that note, I have to start wrapping up because drum roll.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Not stream to talk about the chore that is The Last of Us season 2. So I wanted to like go around the horn, see what everybody's working on. I'll start with the newcomer, Toxic. What do you got going on?
I'm probably going to do a follow-up video to my 10 favorite movie monologues by doing my 10 favorite TV monologues.
Okay.
And I'm still developing a stream for I have a playlist, a certain show that I do called Consider the Source, where I take the whatever it is, book, video game, comic book, whatever, and what it's been adapted into, TV, movie, miniseries, whatever. And I'm looking at doing 2 of those soon. One for A Simple Favor and lead into another Simple Favor, which has just been released. And
Are
then,
those movies any good?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Better than the book. So if that means anything to you. And then I may do like a fundraising stream because, as Nadia knows, I had a bad car wreck about a month ago and still trying to get that thing fixed. So I might do a Consider the Source, the book versus the movie for Carrie. My daughter and I are going to talk about the Long Walk trailer because we both really love that book, and the trailer just dropped, which I didn't even know it was a movie. I didn't even know they were making a movie. I had no idea.
Great book.
Great book. Probably his best. And then that's it. And then I do stuff with Nadia and the Outcast Creative. So
nice.
Hey, good, you're okay, man.
Toxic.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It was just somebody put like an IED under my car or something. I don't know, because it just exploded. I don't know.
Did this happen overseas?
No, it was here. I do security work and I do PI work on the side.
Jeez.
And somebody did something to my tire, and it didn't slowly. It just exploded on a back road. The tire guys told me that there's no way that could have happened without somebody tampering with it. Unfortunately, a lot of people, I work at bars and restaurants and hotels like this one, and people know who the security guy is, so they walk and see where my car is, and so I've had my windshield peppered with stuff. I've had the front end kicked in, and so somebody managed to like strip my tire, and then it just, when I went over 70, it was just exploded.
Wow.
Damn.
Oh, that's what they did. Did they strip the side of the tire, the wall? That'll happen. Yeah. I had to get a tire replaced because I told I had warranted, and I said, "Hey guys, I need you to replace that because I know it could have just exploded at any time because a portion of it got ripped off on the side, the exterior."
Wow.
So, PSA for people who are monitoring their tires: be aware of that. If you have like a chunk ripped out on the exterior of the tire,
replace it. Yeah. Sin, what do you have going on?
I've got a review for Clown in a Cornfield tomorrow. That's the only immediate thing that I can think of right now.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you got going on?
I just released Jerry Maguire discussion I have with my attorney friend Sean Levinson, and we do the talk out and back in front of an actual bonfire, and it's a really cool.
I've been in that bonfire.
Yeah, Paul's been there.
Great.
Those are some cozy
He's been
chats
there.
to listen to.
It's a cozy chat, and it's about a classic film. So, speaking of classic films,
I'll give that a listen.
Enjoy that. No, it's a good one, man.
Yeah, you definitely. Like all the fireside chats that Kyle does are pretty interesting.
Yeah, we talk for around
for like
2 hours.
No, more than that.
No, but in
that
terms
was just
of like
on screen.
No, but dude, in terms of one topic, I mean, it can go for 2 hours.
Yeah,
I mean, me and Sean, we talked about Jerry Maguire for 2 hours, but then I structure it down in editing I did it for about sporadically over 2 weeks, and it's about 40-minute talk.
Yeah.
So it's a podcast, but it's visually pleasing in that we're smoking cigars, we're in front of a fire. It's just it's meant to be like in front of a projector. Like if you have a big screen, that's the best version to watch it.
Wow.
I put you on my little iPad when I play video games.
Man.
Nadia, what do you got going on?
The Last of Us season 2, episode 4 stream right after this.
Heavy sigh from the.
So this is interesting. So with this show, because I got the take for Paul, he's not really enjoying the show. Are you enjoying this show, Nadia?
No, but I'm committed, and there's only 4 more episodes left, or 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not a long season.
So
we'll
close.
actually be done with this by the end of this month, so it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Are you gonna do the next season if they do this?
Absolutely fucking not.
No.
All right.
No.
They might not even do another season. It's like the drop off in viewership is so bad that
It's the sunk cost. It's a sunk cost fallacy thing. It's like I'm not going to invest anything more into this shit after this.
I might do the new episode of Love, Death and Robots after this to like place hold, because Thursday's normally my show that I talk about things I've watched or cover TV shows and stuff. So I might slip that in. I'm kind of debating on it.
Black Mirror might also be something you could put.
I did, this season was not too bad.
You're downplaying it because don't you have something coming up on the 20th?
Ooh.
Oh yes. So next week is normal schedule and such. Actually, Tuesday I'm going to be going into Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases and why Hope sugarcoats them as this loving couple. And spoiler, Ed was the real demon. So I'm going to be doing that next week. But on the 20th is my 1 year channel celebration. Paul's going to be on it with me. I'll have a couple tiers for people to win stuff, so it should be a good time. And then this month starts my first monthly new show where I have a bunch of female horror content creators who will be joining me for a roundtable discussion of what we've intaked in the last month of horror, whether it be movies, TV shows, comics, video games, whatever in that genre, and then what we're looking forward to. And we're going to be doing it once a month.
You know who would be excellent
I
for this?
I don't think Tuesdays, I think, is hard for you, right, Sin? I think when I initially... We'll talk offline.
I don't remember I remember you asked about The Last of Us. I was like, well, I haven't even started. I haven't even watched it. So
okay, so that we'll talk offline.
Corey, what do you have going on?
I have this going on. I enjoy the stream. I thank you very much for having me back on.
Absolutely.
You put up with me more than once, so I appreciate that very, very much.
Stop, Corey.
Yeah, stop it.
He might be on the next one. He might be, even though he's invited. He might be back.
I might be on there.
Corey is officially invited to the next Thursdays.
I am until I don't get the link, so we'll see.
You're in the chat. He always
forced
the
not
link in
sending the
there.
link.
General chat, man.
Corey.
Yep.
Corey, you're more than welcome to join Toxic and I and Paul for The Last of Us, because I'm sure we're going to be talking about other stuff.
Oh, I'll join in, but I'll be talking about stuff I have not seen yet. But so that might not go well.
Don't worry, I pull up the episode on screen. You'll see it. You'll see it.
This is what I got going on. I appreciate you having me on here in all seriousness, and have a lot of fun doing this, jumping on and talking to everybody about things. And when you were talking about series, I don't get into series too much, but Murderbot kind of looks interesting to me, and I am looking. I think I might have to do a Apple TV, whatever it's called, subscription to check that out. So that one looks good to me, man.
Yes, I can't say much about it, but yes.
Yeah, don't get in trouble, Sin.
No spoilers.
I was already excited about it, but then you were like, I can't say yes or no, but yes.
That is all.
Is it based off a book series?
Yes.
Yes,
it is, and I didn't know that until after.
Oh, a Skarsgård. I'm sold.
Skarsgård's in there, so you got to see that.
Oh, my boy David's in
David
it. All right.
Dastmalchian is in there. Yes.
All right. Okay.
There's some familiar faces in the trailer that I saw, and that looks interesting. So that's I'm looking forward to watching that. So
That's a show or a movie?
Show.
It's a show.
It's a
Series
show.
on Apple.
And my review for that will be going up finally on the 12th. That's when the embargo lifts.
There you go.
Shit, maybe we might.
So I want to jump in and watch that. But in Mobland, I've been watching recently too.
Oh,
I have
I
not
watched
about that.
I have
that's
not.
a Guy Ritchie thing.
Yeah. You got a little. Take a look at that. There's some big names involved with that as well.
Tom Hardy, right?
Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Thank you.
Helen
Thank
Mirren,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I haven't been big into series, but I've Mobland I've been enjoying, and Murderbot I have that on the horizon here. I think next week it starts going.
Yes,
maybe.
on the 16th.
Yeah.
16th. Yep.
16th. Yeah.
Somebody recommended Paradise.
Right after
Paradise
my birthday too. So
Yeah,
Oh,
Paradise
there
is
you go.
great. Brawler.
Don't tell me anything about it.
Sure, yeah. No, I can't spoil anything for you because it's actually a good show. Brawler, what do you got going on?
His high school graduation.
I'm about to graduate high school, senior year. I'm so proud of
is it
myself.
high school or middle school?
Middle school. My bad.
Oh,
middle
poor
school. Just got
Brawler.
out of middle school.
going for my permit.
I got all
tomorrow.
these. Yeah, I got old school toxic here. Always busting my balls. Let's see. Well, nothing else planned this week. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I like to have a round table and reflect upon one of the cult classics. And me and my buddy Luke, we're both Gen Z, as Toxic reminds us all. And just kind of a different perspective, hearing a young person's perspective of these films. And a lot of these films I haven't seen before, so we're kind of getting into it, but we break it down. We have some pretty deep discussions, and we just have a great time talking movies, talking old stuff. I think this Tuesday, I think Toxic, I think you're the one that reminded me of Good Morning Vietnam. That's great. I'm tempted to do that this Tuesday. It's either going to be that, Jaws, or We Were Soldiers. So tune in.
I have the VHS of Good Morning Vietnam sitting right over
Isn't
there.
Jaws coming back to theaters though for anniversary?
I
saw the
Is
pocket
it?
Yes,
pocket.
yes.
So you might want to wait to kind
What
of
is?
do it closer.
Jaws.
Jaws is coming back to theaters.
Indiana
okay.
Jones is coming back too. The
Yeah,
Last
so you might
Crusade.
want to wait because they're getting a popcorn bucket and everything. To
They're
kind
playing
of ride
Kingdom
that
of
boat.
Heaven next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's coming back.
I've never
Wait,
seen that one. I want to see that.
When?
Next
Sometime
Wednesday.
Next
Yeah.
Wednesday, what theater?
Cinemark. I think Cinemark. I don't know if other ones are doing it.
But it's also showing on my Regal app too, so it might be AMC as well.
Because I actually haven't
excited.
seen that, and it's all over my social media.
Go
Yeah.
see
It's
it,
mine
man.
too, Paul. It visually
Go
looks
see
appealing to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got 5 tickets.
Brawler, when did you first see Jaws?
Maybe I don't know, not that long ago. Maybe 4 months ago.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if you need someone who has a different experience than you do, because I saw that as a
Ooh.
child.
I saw that as a child too.
Me
like
too.
a
It scared
4-year-old.
the shit out of me.
I'm your guy.
Okay, I'll keep that in
I
my
still
Kyle.
do not go into the ocean.
I
I tell ya.
I could, as a kid, I could not swim in the deep end of the pool at my aunt's house because of that.
Because
movie.
of
Okay,
Jaws,
well,
yeah.
I got one better for you. I was sleeping at my aunt's house with my dad. We were sleeping in the living room. She had blue carpet.
Whoa.
I'm sure that he was going to come up out of that blue
Ooh.
carpet.
I want just a little bit of credit from Brawler for the fact that when he said he saw it as a child, and you said you saw it 4 months ago, and I didn't say, well, you both seen it as children. So,
You didn't bust his balls with it or anything.
I
being
saw
nice
it
now.
before my balls dropped, so it's just different.
Well, thanks everybody. So we have
Paul's like, we're done.
It's a great note to end on.
We have a super chat, Paul.
For Nadia, me, and Toxic, we
Blue
probably need a
collar,
bathroom
thank you
break
for the super chat.
between streams. So I have Nadia's stream coming up right after this over on Horror with Nads. Everybody go and subscribe to her. Get her over 1,000.
So she can see the new Final Destination movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
And I want to
That's
see
the
her
motivation
reaction
here.
to it. I want to see
Exactly.
her watch that thing.
And
It's gonna be this.
No, you're not allowed to close your eyes or cover
No,
them.
you can't cover your
I
eyes.
have a hoodie,
Understand?
It's gonna be like,
You got to be completely open for it.
Got to promise.
Paul,
Okay.
you got
All
a
right.
super chat from
Yeah.
Blue
Yeah,
Collar.
blue collar loser. Thank
we
you.
can be a
Let's
few minutes
go.
late. It's okay.
Thank you, Blue Collar. I don't know how to. Where the hell?
Well, you're welcome, Ian, in the chat.
Fuck, where is it? I can't
Hey,
even see
Ian.
it.
Glad you've been here.
I'll
there
just
it is.
read it.
Holy shit!
there
Thank
you go.
you, thank you, Blue Collar. Thank you so much. Wow, it's my first super chat since I got remonetized.
Wow.
And I
Blue's
said yes,
cool.
remonetized.
Remonetized.
Long story, but yeah. So I have one of my videos that I actually like. It's almost in the can, and it has been for like a month and a half. Is how J.R.R. Tolkien hated Walt Disney and what he did to fairy tales.
Wow.
It came. It was supposed to come on the heels of Snow White, but whatever. Life came up. And then the next Thirsty Thursdays, I'm going to lean towards the first Thursday in June. So we'll be probably discussing Mission Impossible and whatever
Yes.
else comes up beforehand.
Oh, I invited myself.
Oh yeah, Nadia, you're in.
I fucking love
No,
Mission
stop.
Impossible movies.
You got to be like Corey and be more humble and say, I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to do that.
I guess if I get a link, if I get a link, I guess maybe I'll show up.
And Blue, by the way, I am so jealous. Even though I live in the IMAX capital, I don't think they ever showed it. At least that I saw. So I'm super jealous that you got to see it in IMAX.
Yeah, you have a 70 millimeter one too.
Yeah, so we have like a for real one in Lincoln Center where I saw Dunkirk, and that first shot, it just shook you.
I don't
Like that first rifle shot in Dunkirk. It was just like holy fuck. But yeah, so yeah, thank you everybody for coming on. And I don't have like an outro like Deleted does, but yeah, I would like to say good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.